Students, the other day we discussed active voice and passive voice. Today let us learn direct speech and indirect speech. First of all, what is direct speech and what is indirect speech, and where do we use direct speech and indirect speech? What is the difference between these two? Let us take an example. I met one of my friends the other day. He is Mr. David. I asked him, where are you going? He replied, I am going to meet my grandfather today. I am going to meet my grandfather today, he said. Now just imagine, I am going to report his words to somebody else or maybe to you. What did he say? He said, I am going to visit my grandfather today. So what did he say? He said that he was going to visit his grandfather that day. So this is the words I am reporting to you now. He said, I am going to visit my grandfather today. So when I am reporting this, his actual words to somebody else, I have changed the pronoun, I changed the tenses, because that discussion took place a few days ago. So now I have to change that present tense into past tense form. So now I have to change the past tense, the present tense I change it into past, and the pronoun I became he, and today became that day. This is the reported speech. So I am going to visit my grandfather today became he said that he was going to visit his grandfather that day. This is reported speech. So changing direct speech into indirect speech. Indirect speech is also called reported speech. We have certain rules to follow. So what is reported speech? When we use the actual words of the speaker, and we mention usually it in the written form within quotation marks, we mention that the actual words of the speaker, that is a direct speech. When we do not use the actual words, but we convey the same meaning, and usually we change the pronoun, the tense form and the time. Without changing the meaning, we report the sentence to somebody else, that is called reported speech. And let us look into the details and how do we change according to the tenses. What are the changes we have to apply when we change direct into indirect speech? Let us see one more example. I asked my friend, how are you? So here we can see that the sentence is written, how are you? It is in the present tense form. We have a comma here after I. These words are written within brackets, within quotation marks, within quotation marks, and there is a question mark there. And David replied, I am fine, within the quotation marks, I am fine. So this is the direct speech. This is the direct speech. So we have used the quotation marks. So these are the original words of the speaker. What he said, I am fine, the direct speech. If we change the same words into indirect speech without changing the meaning, we can see, I asked David how he was. How he was. See the change, what are the changes now? Are present tense has now become past tense, how he was. Here this was a question and ended with a question mark, but now this sentence, the indirect speech, ended with a full stop. We changed the order also. Here it was a verb first, helping verb, and the subject. Here the person came in front of the helping verb. So the sentence now is an indirect speech, the tense is changed, and the answer here, David said, I am fine. David said, we have added a conjunction here that, even without the word that also the meaning is complete. David said he was fine. Here I, the pronoun, first person pronoun, is now changed into the third person pronoun. I became he because it is a somebody is talking here. He was fine. The present tense now has become past tense. He was fine. Can we change David said that he is fine? No, that is a sentence is wrong, because here this reporting verb, this is a reporting verb. The reporting verb is in the past tense form. So, when the reporting verb is past tense, we cannot write a present tense in thereafter. In the same sentence, we cannot write a past tense and a present tense together, because this incident is already happened. He said it some time ago. So, he said that he was fine, not that he is fine. So, the rules here basically are change of pronoun, change of tense and change of time. For example, if there is a today here or a tomorrow or a day after tomorrow, that time will change into, for example, today it becomes that day, tomorrow becomes the next day, yesterday is going to become the day before. So, like that a number of changes we have to apply when we change direct into indirect speech. Let us see the details of how do we change direct into indirect and what are the changes according to different tenses. Let us see a few examples tense wise. How do we change direct speech into indirect speech? For example, starting with simple present, I like ice cream. We have a sentence here, it is written within the quotation marks. So, that shows it is a direct speech. The pronoun is I, verb is like, simple present. How do we change into indirect speech? He said, it can be any he or she we can take here. He said he liked ice cream. He said that also we can add here conjunction that, not mandatory. He said that he liked ice cream. What changes took place here? First of all, the pronoun I, here we have changed it into he, third person pronoun. The verb form like simple present form is changed into V2 form, that is liked. So, that is simple past. So, what we have to remember when we change direct reporting speech is present tense becomes past tense in the indirect speech. Now, let us see present continuous tense. I am living in Delhi. He said I am living in Delhi. So, present continuous is are plus an ing form is going to making present continuous. That present continuous is now changed into he said that he was living in Delhi. So, what are the changes? The present continuous form is changed into past continuous. So, when we change direct into indirect, simple present becomes simple past, present continuous become past continuous form. Let us see an example of present perfect. I have done the homework. Have, has plus V3, that is present perfect, as you already know. Present perfect is changed into past perfect. So, have now is going to become had. If there is a has or have, it is going to become had V3 in the indirect speech. I have done the homework. He said that he had done the homework. We have changed the pronoun. I became he here. Have done became had done. So, what are the changes? Present tense simple present became simple past. Present continuous is changed into past continuous. Present perfect has now become past perfect in the indirect speech. Next, let us see how do we change simple past, past continuous and past perfect tenses into indirect speech. Past simple. Rani says to another person Manoj, Manoj, I bought a car yesterday, simple past. So, here we have an object here. Rani said to Manoj, Manoj, I bought a car yesterday. Now, how do we change into reported speech? Past perfect, it is going to become past perfect tense. Rani told Manoj. So, here we have introduced told because in the direct speech we have an object here. When there is an object in the direct speech, someone is speaking to somebody else, we use the word told instead of said. So, Rani told Manoj, we have repeated the same object here. Rani told Manoj that she had bought a car the day before. What are the changes? Now, here some simple past sentence to past perfect. Bought V2 form, simple past now has become hard bought. So, simple past became hard bought, that is past perfect. Yesterday, the time we have changed into the day before. We have introduced the word told. So, Rani Manoj, I bought a car yesterday. Rani told Manoj that she had bought a car the day before. Now, let us see another example, past continuous form, was watching. As you know, be forms is, are, was, were plus the ing form makes a continuous tense. Was and were plus the ing form is the past continuous form. I was watching a movie. Now, it is changed into past perfect form in the indirect speech. We can see he said that he had been watching a movie. Was watching is past continuous, changed into had been watching past perfect continuous. So, simple past is changed into past perfect and past continuous is changed into past perfect continuous. Was watching became had been watching. Past perfect, what happens? See, in both these cases we have changed simple past into past perfect, past continuous into past perfect continuous. Now, the past perfect, in which way it is going to change? I had taken the book. Had V3 is the past perfect form here. So, past perfect direct speech, now it is changed into he said that he had taken the book. So, what did you notice here? Had taken is same had taken, there is no change. So, when we change past perfect into indirect speech, there is no change in the tense form. So, had plus V3 will be the same had V3 in the indirect speech also. I had taken the book, he said that he had taken the book. So, there is no change in the past perfect. Let us see a few more examples. Changing the direct speech written in future tenses, how do we change into indirect speech? The will form, Raju, I will come tomorrow. So, Raju says I will come tomorrow. Here we have a will form, that is a future tense. The future will becomes would in the indirect speech. Raju said that he would come the next day. So, will is changed into would. Tomorrow, obviously it becomes the next day. So, will is changed into would. Raju said that he would come the next day. Can becomes could in the indirect speech. She said, I can write a story. She said that she could write a story, that is indirect speech. In the indirect, can becomes could. May becomes might in the indirect speech. He said, I may come tomorrow. I may come tomorrow. May becomes might in the indirect speech. He said that he might come tomorrow. So, may becomes might. Sorry, he might come the next day. Here, tomorrow is the time. Tomorrow becomes the next day. Should, and here you can notice that should does not have a change in the indirect speech. She said, I should do my homework. The indirect speech is she said that she should do her homework. So, will becomes would in the indirect speech, can becomes could, may becomes might, but should does not have a change. Same case with should, could, might. These words will not be changed in the indirect speech. If it is going to be, she said I would do my homework, and the indirect speech will be he said that, she said that, she would do the homework. So, should, would, might does not have a change in the indirect speech. We have a few exceptions too, where we do not apply the rule of changing the tenses in the indirect form. Let us see what are the exceptions where we do not change the tense. For example, universal truths, which is always true. Yesterday it was true, today it is, and tomorrow also the situation is same. For example, he said the sky is blue. It is the fact, universal fact, that is always true yesterday, today and tomorrow. Therefore, we are not going to change the tense. You can see here, he said the sky is blue, the direct speech. In the indirect speech, we have he said that the sky is blue. So, we have not changed the verb forms from direct into indirect, and the reason is this is our universal truths. Example 2, she said honey is sweet. So, it is written in present form, is the verb there. She said that honey is sweet. We have not changed. Though the reporting verb is said, we have not changed the verb, the tenses, because it is always true. It is a universal truth. So, for universal truths, we do not change the tenses. We have to maintain, retain the same tense form in the direct and indirect speech too. Another exception that we have is proverbs. For example, he said honesty is the best policy. So, here the proverb here, honesty is the best policy, we have written the same way without changing the tense form. So, the indirect form is he said that honesty is the best policy. We do not change the is into was, it is the same. Honesty is the best policy because it is a proverb. It is truth yesterday and today and tomorrow also, it is a proverb. We do not change the tense form for both universal truth as well as for proverb. Another example, a friend in need is a friend indeed. You can change it for yourself. I have not written the answer here. What could be the possible answer? We can say he said, or the teacher said that a friend in need. Can we change this is into was? Cannot be, because it is a proverb. We have to retain the same. A friend in need is a friend in need. So, we have a few more exceptions like this, where we do not change the tense, and two exceptions here mentioned are universal truths and proverb. Let us see a few more situations where we do not change the tense form. We discussed a few exceptional cases where we do not change the tenses. Let us see one more exception here. When the reporting verb is in the present form, the reporting verb he says, we discussed all these examples till now. When the reporting verb was said, the past tense form. If the reporting verb is in the present form, he says, or even future form, he will say, in such cases we do not change the tense. So, that is we are going to see here with a few examples. He says tomorrow is a holiday. Tomorrow is a holiday. If the reporting verb were, if he said, this answer is going to be tomorrow, the next day was a holiday, but here now the reporting verb is in the present form, he says. So, let us see how do we change. The answer is he says that tomorrow is a holiday. We have not changed anything. Here tomorrow is remaining here as tomorrow, and the present tense we have retained in the indirect speech is only. He says that tomorrow is a holiday. We cannot change it into the next day is a holiday, because right now we are speaking about tomorrow, and the reporting also happened right now, today itself. The time has not passed. So, today he says tomorrow is a holiday, and I can report the same thing right now, telling that he says that tomorrow is a holiday. Remember, do not change the time tomorrow into the next day, because we are talking about tomorrow right now. He says about tomorrow. Do not change tomorrow into next day. Do not change is into was. So, whenever the reporting verb is says, have a special care, do not apply the rule of changing the tenses. We have been discussing that we change the present tense into past tense form, and the past tense we change into past perfect form. But this is a special case, we do not change the tense form when the reporting verb is in the present tense. Another example, he says, I am on leave today. So, it is in the present tense and it is about this particular day today. As we are talking about today, he says, today I am on leave, present tense. When we report, we say, he says that he is on leave today. He is on leave today. So, we have repeated the tense form. I am is present tense. So, is the same present tense. We have changed the pronoun I into he. So, we have changed am into is, but the tense remained the same. He is on leave. Today also we have retained today itself. We have not changed it into that day, because we are mentioning about the particular day today itself. So, he says I am on leave today. When we report, we mention the same in the present tense, retaining the same time. He says that he is on leave today. She says, another example, she says I am fine. She says I am fine, today I am fine. And the reported speech is, she says that she is fine. If there is a today here, that today will be repeated here. So, this is the present tense, we have retained the same. So, this is a special case we have to remember in the examination especially. So, we discussed the 3 exceptions till now. The universal truths, that is always true yesterday, today and tomorrow, we should not change. We have to retain the same tense in the indirect speech also. And again, the proverbs, we do not change the tense. We have to retain the same proverb as it is without changing the tense form. And most importantly, if the reporting verb is in the present form, or sometimes in the future form or present perfect form, we do not change the tenses. We have to retain the same tenses in the reported speech. Is will be is, the time also today will be today. We do not change today into the next day, remember, like we do usually in the reporting time when the reporting verb is past tense. If I write, he said I am on leave today. Just imagine, if I change the says into he said, then how this answer is going to be? He said that he, obviously, when we change the reporting verb is in the past tense, the present tense must be changed into past form. The present simple present becomes simple past. He said that he was on leave. So, the today cannot be today when we change the report direct speech into indirect speech. So, we have changed am into was past tense. So, today will become that day. When does it happen? When we have the reporting verb in the past form. If the reporting verb is in the present tense, we do not change the tense or the time. He says that I am on leave today, the answer will be he says that he is on leave today. So, observe this reporting verb in the examination. If it is in the past tense, we have to change the time, we have to change the pronoun, we have to change the tense and the time according to the particular tense form given. Let us see how do we change the direct into indirect speech when the given question is in the optative form. Optative sentences means hope, prayer, wish, greeting, etc. We say optative sentence. As you know, kinds of sentence we have divided into 5, and when we have this kind of sentences that are prayer or wish or a greeting, etc., how do we change? It is a different pattern from the normal rules are not applicable here. Let us see the examples. He said, may you live long. So, it is a prayer or that I might live long. So, here we do not apply the basic rule that he said that. Instead, we have included a new word here, he prayed, that shows it is an optative form, it is a prayer that may you live long. So, we have changed the reported speech into he prayed that I might live long. So, here this you is I in the indirect form, may we have changed it into might, and this particular word he prayed shows it is a prayer from the other person. So, instead of writing he said or he told, instead of that we have written he prayed. May God bless you. So, as you know, it is a blessing or a prayer that may God bless you. So, we have repeated the word prayer here also, because it is a prayer from the other person. He said, may God bless you. He prayed that God might bless me. So, we have changed the may into the might form, and we have added the word prayed here. That shows it is in the optative form, it is a prayer. He said, good morning. So, it is a greeting. So, we do not say he told me or he said good morning. Since it is a greeting, we can say he wished me good morning or good afternoon or good evening. It is he wished. So, we use the word he wished instead of we say telling he said. May you get success in life, said the teacher. So, this is also is a wish from the teacher, or it is a prayer or a blessing from the teacher. So, how are you going to change this sentence? You can try yourself. May you get success in life, said the teacher. Please try yourself. The teacher wished. So, may is going to become might. So, the you are going to change yourself into me. The teacher wished me that I might get success in life. So, the teacher wished that I might get success in life. So, for optative sentences we have a different form. Instead of said or told, we are going to use prayed or wished or blessed. So, that words are going to come here, or greeted, these words are going to change. So, till now we have been discussing the changing of direct into indirect when it comes to declarative form. So, in the next session we will discuss more about interrogative form and imperative forms. How do we change the question interrogative sentences into indirect speech, and how do we change the imperative sentences into indirect speech? We will come in the next session.